Right off the top, into the thick of things in Mid-American Conference gymnastics action. The Eastern Michigan Eagles are 4 meets in and their third league matchup. The Western Michigan Broncos are in Ypsilanti tonight. It's Friday night, Mid-American Conference gymnastics on ESPN. We welcome you down here on the floor at the Convocation Center. She's my partner, Ashley Bueller. Joel Godet, glad to have you along with us. We are early in the season. Both of these teams are very young, which has both coaches looking for just continuous improvement. But in what way tonight?
They're really just looking to get those stuck landings and more hit routines than we've seen in the last few weeks. Anything they can do to get into that 195 range is really the goal today. The
bar has been set pretty high for Western Michigan with 6 freshmen in the lineup. Already a 195 attained this year. That was in the season opener against Michigan State of all teams. Morgan Spence has been one of the big reasons why. The all-arounder was 6th in the MAC last year.
Yeah, Morgan has been an important part of this Western team. In her very first season, she was named the MAC Freshman of the Year. She's also a 2-time NCAA regional qualifier as an individual, so she's doing big things for the Broncos.
She was the team's floor and bar MVP in 2019, upgraded all her routines last year, doing so again here in 2020. 2 all-arounders for Eastern Michigan that they rely on. One of them, Jada Rondu. She has NCAA regional goals as well.
Yeah, she's been a really solid all-around contributor for EMU. Last year, as a sophomore, she notched career highs in every event, so definitely someone the Eagles can count on to bring in those big scores.
We said it's early in the season, but conference meets already deep on the schedule. How about Eastern Michigan? 4 meets. Now 3 of them Mid-American Conference meets. Eastern Michigan knocking off Bowling Green in its opener, falling to Central Michigan last time out, and now they get the Western Michigan Broncos, who are fresh off a win over the defending Mid-American Conference champion, Northern Illinois Huskies. It is Mid-American Conference gymnastics, some Friday night heights for you in Ypsilanti. We open things up when we return to the Convocation Center next. Penny Jernigan has been the head coach at Western Michigan since 2014, leading this Western Michigan Broncos team that is very young this season. 6 freshmen for the former North Carolina assistant. Former elite coach, former judge as well, has done a marvelous job up in Kalamazoo. Opposed today by Katie Minnesola, the former alternate on the U.S. national team back in 1996.
Yep, the gold medal winning Olympic team.
Her 3rd season here in Ypsilanti. Katie Minnesola trying to take Eastern back to an NCAA regional, which has become an expectation around here after they made it back-to-back seasons just before her arrival here in the southeast area of Michigan. There's Molly Paris. Injured her ankle last week when she slipped off the vault for Eastern Michigan. That led to some scatterbrainness, as Katie Minnesola told us. Have to try to figure things out on the fly because she's supposed to lead off the bar lineup in the 2nd rotation. So you're trying to figure out what spots to plug where and who to move where. That impacted some scores. The falls then led over into beam where there were some falls, and Eastern didn't get the score it wanted in the 194 loss to Central Michigan a week ago. Molly Paris is now out for the season, so those changes have become more permanent, but a week to prepare for it here. We'll see what the impact looks like first on the vault lineup.
Yeah, Coach Minnesola said that vault was a weaker event for the team, so it's really unfortunate that they lost Paris because she was in both the vault and bar lineups, so definitely a loss.
Carly Kasanovich, the sophomore out of Moon Township in Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area, will lead off on vault for Eastern Michigan today. A 9.65 is her average through 2 meets.
This is going to be a front handspring, front pike, and a little bit too much power on that. Took a big hop forward. The judges are probably going to take at least 3/10 on that landing.
You see the power, though? And if you can learn to control that, Katie Minnesola called her a sleeper, a potential all-arounder at some point in the future. As we jump over to bars and see Taylor Bice, the younger sister of Jesse Bice.
Started off there with a big Tkachev. Does a bail down to the low bar. Did a good job of hitting the handstand position. That's one of the key things the judges are looking for. Nice handstand position there as well. Just winding up now for the dismount. And a double layout. Oh, and it was almost a stuck landing. She took a hop and then a little step back. but a solid routine to get them started.
That's the only time we will see the veteran Taylor Bice tonight. Last season of a Bice at Kalamazoo, Penny Jernigan has had one on her team for 7 consecutive seasons after Jessie competed. Bars was actually the one event that wasn't Jessie's favorite. It's the one event that Taylor excels at.
Isn't that funny how that works out?
Right? Sisters complete themselves. Here's Jada Rondu, the all-arounder today, and the only one for Eastern Michigan in the lineup.
So she sat out this event last week. She was feeling a little bit under the weather, but it's good to see her back in the lineup. She's going to be doing a Yurchenko full.
9.5 average on the season. Again, just through 2 meets. We are very early in a 12-week just juggernaut of a gymnastics schedule. So close to a regional appearance a season ago.
So she goes Yurchenko full, and just a small hop forward, maybe a little bit under-rotated on that, but it was a good ball.
And it's a great bounce-back ball after you get a solid deduction on your opener.
Yeah, with that big hop that Kasanovic took, they're most likely going to want to have to drop that score if they could.
It was a 9.5 from Kasanovic. That will be better than that, probably in the 9.7 range.
Yep, right around there.
Well, they're calling it a stick in the arena. Throw out T-shirts for every stuck landing for the Eagles.
Why not?
This is Ronnie Binstock, one of 6 freshmen, and a big separation on the release move.
Yeah, she's a little bit too close to the bar. Just barely got over. She was a straddle back, kind of missed the handstand position there. And a tuck full end. A little bit of a deep squat on that landing, but holds on to it.
It's a heck of a degree of difficulty, though. As a freshman who would be competing all around, injury will keep her off the beam. But way to set the bar high.
Yeah, it was a hit routine, so that's what matters.
This is Hannah Hartung, the freshman. This will be a Yurchenko full out of her. Right in the middle of the lineup. It'll be anchored by not a freshman, well, technically a redshirt freshman. Kara Roberts did not compete last year, so some youth on both of these teams.
Yeah, they have a lot of freshmen both on eastern side and western side. So they're really depending on their youth to step up and contribute to these lineup positions.
Third vault for the Eagles.
And a good ball, took a step back, kind of a step and a hop back. But that was a really strong ball for her. A little bit of a bend in her hips, the judges might take for that. But a solid ball. Getting a look at the replay here. You can see right there, she kind of bends her hips and then takes that big step back. She looks happy with it, though.
You are fighting the forces of gravity to keep from piking in the air that way.
Yeah. The judges, though, they want to see those straight body positions, so.
Here's the freshman all-arounder for Western Michigan. This is Charlotte Tishkov, who makes her way up to Michigan all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Started off with a sacoche. She had a leg separation on that. The judges are good for that. Bailed a handstand. A little bit of form issues I'm seeing.
A little bit short on that last handstand.
The double layout.
That's beautiful, though.
Yeah, gets the landing. It was a good routine. Just a couple of little things. The judges are looking for perfection these days.
And the handstand one is an easy enough one to clean up going forward, just to get to completely perpendicular.
They want to see those handstands be completely on top of the bar.
You've got, what's your green zone, about a 10th?
Yeah, it's about like a 10 degree you have to work with, so I know the judges don't really have a way of telling, but.
No protractors. It's Callie Harden.
So it's another one of those front handspring, front plate balls. Big hop forward. She had her chest down a little bit. What's difficult about that ball, though, it only starts from a 9.9, but the fact that she's landing facing forward, it's more difficult because she can't see the landing. It's what we call blind landing in gymnastics. So she can't actually see where she's at until she's basically there.
You've got to trust yourself.
Yeah.
That the ground is going to be there, and really that you've put yourself in the right position. Going over to elbow bump Ella Dover, and we'll talk about as the meet continues tonight. It is Epilepsy Awareness Night. Young Ella is a member of the Eastern team through Team Impact, struggling with epilepsy. Her 4th season with Eastern.
Coach Minnesota said that she wants the team to compete for Ella today. It's an honor and privilege to be a part of a Division I athletic team, and Ella's not able to do what these girls can do, so she wants them to go out there, compete with heart, and do it for her.
Back over to bars. This is Morgan Spence, who we talked about in the open.
Started off with a Ginger. Legs came apart a little bit.
So the 9.775 for Hartung coming through.
Finishes off with a double tuck. Small step back. But another hit routine.
Binstock led off with a 9.625 for Western. So that they would hope will be the droppable score. 6 up, 5 count. Back to vault. Dobronics with a stick.
Another Yurchenko full. That was a really good ball. I feel like every time she does that ball, that looks just like that. She's so consistent. The team can really count on her, and she shows that week in and week out.
She's been a regional competitor each of the last, well, really 3 seasons. Individually the last 2 years, but as a team, as a freshman. And there's your senior leader trying to will her team back to that level here as a senior. And Eastern is in that position early in the year, and you are so early, there is so much more time to go, but it's easier to fight to stay in the top 36 than it is to try to eliminate 10ths as you get another look at Ella Dover. You know, it's harder to be a 10th out and have to make that ground up as you pile up scores through the course of the season.
Right, yeah, it's definitely easier to start off your season strong and just maintain what you've been doing. And I think the Eastern has been having good performances so far, so they're definitely looking to keep that rolling.
Stacy Harrison will be next up on the bars for Western. Kara Roberts, who you got to look at, will be next up on vault for Katie Minnesola's bunch. We're 1 score behind on Western at the moment, so it's a 9.625 for Binstock, 7.75 for Bice, 7.5 for Tishkov. Do not have Spence's in yet at the moment, which is why you see the vast discrepancy, which will only grow as we put in Dobronics' 9.8.
I'm pretty sure that matches her career high.
It's her best this season.
I would say about the only other deduction that they're taking on that ball is maybe a little bit of direction. She's not completely on center when she lands. Other than that, that's about as good as she can do it. And
again, you would say, well, if there's only that small of a deduction, why isn't it closer to a 10? It doesn't start from a 10.
Yeah, but it almost starts from a 9.95.
So here is Stacy Harrison.
I actually believe this is Amelia Mueller. She was supposed to be in the anchor position, I believe.
Oh, you're right. No, I looked at the wrong spot. You're right.
Okay, so she was a little bit over on the handstand there. Just a straddle back. Doing a good job of keeping that rhythm going. That's really one of the key things with bars. You want to maintain a rhythm. Finishes with a double layout. Gorgeous position in the air on that. Just the step back on the landing. But she finishes strong.
Junior is the anchor on bars and beam usually. Stacy Harrison is in the anchor spot though today.
Kara Roberts. Yurchenko full. Another good ball for EMU. Hop back on the landing.
If she sticks that, that's about as good as it gets.
Oh yeah. She'll definitely be happy with that one.
So the 9.5 by Kasanovic is going to be the dropped score for Eastern Michigan. This is going to turn out to be a phenomenal vault number. And Eastern is actually, statistically speaking, the Eagles' worst apparatus this season. They came in 45th in the country. have yet to crack a 4.9.
Yeah, Coach Minnesota said they don't have as much depth on vault as they want to have. But, you know, they lost Molly Paris, like we said, and I think that today they did a good job coming back and hitting some solid vaults.
No exhibition on vault for Eastern Michigan. Do have to finish up on bars for Western. I committed the ultimate sin of giving you the vault lineup while Western was on bars. So that's where I got mixed up on Amelia Moeller supposing to be up on the last hit. So here is Stacey Harrison now. Vault MVP for this team last year, also phenomenal on bars.
Jaeger directly connected into an overshoot. That gets her some bonus tenths. Oh, and she was over on that handstand. We saw that with Moeller too. Moeller fought to save it, but she fell over, and looks like she just hit her foot on the low bar.
She's got to pick up momentum for a huge dismount that's almost stuck.
Yeah, that's a very difficult dismount. A double layout with a full twist, so very, very difficult, and she does it well. The thing that's unfortunate about that is she doesn't even get any extra bonus tenths for doing that. That double layout is valued as an E. We'll get another look there at her handstand. A little bit over, but as I was saying, the double layout dismount is valued as an E, which is the highest rated element that you can do, and adding the full twist it makes it more difficult, but she doesn't necessarily get any tenths for doing it, so it's just a matter of having the skills and being able to show it off.
And just a bit off on both of those handstands with the back flexed, and that is a rarity. She is the defending Mid-American Conference champion on that apparatus, so that will certainly impact Western Michigan's team score on bars. Eastern will likely have a lead with a 4.8725 mark. That is their best performance on vault this season. They're up through one rotation. 7.25 gets themselves off on the right foot. Western Michigan, not where it wanted to be off of its bar routine, but actually still decently above water here, a 4.865. Take a look at how things broke down. We start on the vault, or excuse me, we start on the bars.
Yeah, Western had a couple rough spots in that rotation, but they kept their momentum going, and Eastern really nailed their vaults. Like we said, it's been kind of a weak spot for them, but they didn't show it there.
Kara Roberts, a 9.725. Hannah Hartung, a 9.775. Then Dobronics had a 9.8. Eastern is able to drop a 9.5 from Carly Kasanovic. And gets themselves off on some pretty solid footing as we go into a bar routine and a bar lineup that actually ranks as Eastern's best apparatus through its first two meets this season. They're 23rd nationally on the bars, tied with their beam numbers, 23rd nationally over there as well, although that's been a foregone conclusion in recent years. Eastern Michigan is just a beam-known team.
Yeah, but they are looking really strong on bars this season. I know Coach Minnesota said that they have more depth this year on this event. She's happy with where they're at. They're able to rest their senior leader, Emily Dobronics, who's nursing a little bit of a shoulder injury, but they have enough depth where they can, rest her and play some other girls.
See Dobronics there in the 5 spot on vaults with a 9.8 that we mentioned. Kara Roberts, who had been an all-arounder in her first couple of collegiate meets, will not go all-around today. She gets a little bit of a break from Katie Minnesota on beam. Western Michigan has had 3 different all-arounders this season. Tishkoff with a 9.75 is their only all-arounder today. We will not see Morgan Spence, Ronnie Binstock in those spots. Spence hasn't gone this year at all. Western is without Peyton Murphy, freshman from the Chicagoland area, competed all around against Michigan State in the opener. Potential to be the best gymnast ever at Western Michigan is what Penny Jernigan told us. The debut of her collegiate career put up a 3.9.175. It is 29th nationally this year for an all-around performance, the first time you've ever done it.
Yeah, that's huge, and it really is a shame that they lost her. I know that not just the coaches, but the gymnastics fans out there, they had high hopes for her, and it's really unfortunate to lose her at the very beginning of her collegiate career.
Just for reference, by the way, best all-around performance put up this season. Maggie Nichols, a 3.9825 for Oklahoma, which means she did 1/10 of a mistake the entire night.
Casual, just Maggie Nichols things.
She's tied nationally with some young lady named Kyla Ross. Don't know what she ever did in her career.
Yeah, nothing too big, just an Olympic gold medal.
All around is a status that a lot of these young gymnasts strive for. And a lot of coaches like to have, I mean, if you can get 3 in your lineup, great. If you can get 2, you feel pretty good about things.
Yeah. The more options, the better. I know a lot of these girls they train and they used to compete all around a lot before they come to college, but also as they get older, they start to deal with more injuries, and sometimes they have to sit out a couple of events and do what's best for the team and themselves.
Harris Roberts Hartung to lead off on bars for Eastern. 23rd nationally. Their high this year is a 4.88. Head to the vault for Western Michigan, Amanda Gruber.
And a Tuck-Yurchenko full, solid vault, just a small step back on the landing, but that was a good way to start the rotation for them. And also having a freshman in your leadoff spot says a lot of good things.
Well,
they're relying on her.
They've got 6 of them. So it's, at some point, Penny Jernigan's got to go with them.
Yeah, Jernigan said that the freshmen are filling up almost 50% of the lineup spots, so they're really relying on those younger girls to step up, and she did a solid routine there. She'll be happy with that one.
On to the bars, Aurelia Harris leads off.
Another freshman in the leadoff spot. She did a great job of hitting that first handstand. Yeager connected to an overshoot. Very solid so far. There's a giant full into a double tuck. And another great routine from Aurelia. She stuck that dismount last week. Couldn't get the stuck landing there, but a great routine for her.
Back to the vault, Ronnie Binstock.
And another Yurchenko full. She had a bend in her hips, so the judges will definitely take for that. And of course, the hop on the landing. But another solid hit.
Good height, good distance.
Yep, those are key things that the judges are looking for. We take another look here. She gets a good push off the table. Like you said, good distance. Just really that bend in her hips is probably the biggest thing the judges are going to take on that vault.
Yeah, there's good power in there.
Yeah, lots of potential.
Eastern Michigan with Kara Roberts in the second spot. Missed last season with a torn Achilles, hurt it doing a double back. And it was the first major injury she had ever had in her gymnastics career. Didn't quite know what to do with herself. Katie Minnesota said she was like a lost puppy dog. And it's hard when you get injured as a freshman because you're embarking on this new part of your life. And coaches said they really had to make sure she was on track academically, with her rehab. Make sure you don't run astray a little bit with those things because you're trying to make so many changes to your life, and then you get that wrench thrown into the equation.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, she's been doing gymnastics her whole life, so it probably felt a little bit odd for her not to be doing gymnastics for a year. Starts off with a beautiful finger release into an overshoot. She did a good job of keeping her legs together on that. A good handstand there, just winding up now for the dismount. Tuck full out, small step back, but that was a beautiful routine. She looks really happy with that one.
She's done a phenomenal job handling the comeback. She thought she could do a couple events coming in this year. Katie Minnesota said we saw her in September and went, nah, you're doing 4.
Yeah, she's made a big impact so far, and I know coming into her freshman year they had high hopes for her, and then the injury happened, but she has not disappointed so far in her sophomore season.
Slight under rotation right at the end there.
Maybe a little bit, yeah, which caused her to take that small step back.
Back to the vault.
Charlotte Tishkoff, that was a really cool vault. You don't see that very often. So that's a Yurchenko full on tuck off. That's the only 10-0 start value they have in their lineup. But she did a great job on that. What's so difficult about that is normally you just see girls do a back handspring onto the table and they go straight back. She does a full twist before her hands come in contact with the table and then pushes off and does a back tuck. So very, very difficult.
Why is that rare?
you just don't see it very often. I mean, it's difficult. You're doing a full twist before your hands come in contact with the table.
Well, and what makes it more difficult from a gymnast perspective, you think about the vault, a lot of the gymnastics comes after the horse.
Right.
What happens when you throw that extra piece before you make contact?
Well, it's just you got to have the right timing, and normally they're pushing off their hands and they're generating all that power through their hands to push and do the twist, but she's got to find the way to do that before she even comes in contact with her hands, so it's really impressive.
Back to the bar lineup. This is Hannah Hartung.
She has a cow hop to a Jaeger. Can't stay on the bar.
And she'll take her 30 seconds to regroup here. I mentioned Katie Minnesola being an alternate on the United States Olympic team back in '96. If the name Hartung sounds familiar, her father is Jim, two-time Olympian. 80 didn't get to go. 84 did get to go. And it's a shame there are not still rings in women's gymnastics because her father is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, he's an Olympic gold medalist, and the men's the men's Olympic team for gymnastics, they've only won one gold medal, and it's that one. So
how about the stick there too?
That was good. Yeah, she fell on that dismount last week, so it was good to see her get it on her feet. That was a good routine. Obviously, she had the fall in the beginning, but she came back strong.
All right, now Morgan Spence on the vault.
And another Yurchenko full. She looks like she was really going for that step landing. Took a step forward, but a good vault.
(9.8) by Tishkoff right in front of her. You see pop up 9.725 from Gruber, Binstock a 9.75. So good scores on the vault for Western Michigan. They rank 41st nationally in that category. We said Eastern was in the NCAA regional picture right now. Western is 43rd. Top 36 go. A lot of math has to get done. But again, it's easier to be on the inside than have to work your way back in.
So these are some things to watch for when the girls are on uneven bars. These are what the judges are looking for. Of course, the handstand positions. They want the girls to be completely vertical, hit the handstand up on the very top of the bar, having clean form on all the release moves and transitions, so legs cut together, toes pointed. And then, of course, the stuck landing. That's the very last thing the judges are going to see, so you want to leave a good impression.
Fun, quirky note, you don't need a release move in a collegiate bar routine. You will see them because it's valuable. However, if you're an Eastern Michigan fan, you remember Sydney Audette from a year ago. She was just clean without one. The deduction for falling was worse than the deduction for not having it. So sometimes composition of routines varies that way.
Yep, you want to play your cards wisely.
Here is Jada Rondu.
Starts off with the Jaeger, connected into the overshoot.
Now that's a release move done beautifully that you want to keep in.
Yep. And she gets the 10th for connecting it directly to the low bar. Double layout dismount, small hop back. I've seen her stick that before and it's beautiful, but she has good form in the air on that. Just got to dial in on that landing.
Her best event so far this season, 9.85 average through a couple of meets. Here's Harrison on the vault. That's power and just under rotated.
Yeah, came up a little bit short on that, had to put her hands down.
She's typically been Western's best, most consistent vaulter.
Just a little bit off today.
And she's got a 1.5, Yurchenko 1.5 in the bag of tricks, just not consistently ready to use it yet. So the talent is there, you will see more out of her.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season, it's always a good idea just to play it safe. You want to get some solid scores under your belt, and then you can start to bring out the big tricks.
Courtney Beazold on bars. She is a specialist. All-MAC first team as a sophomore last year, went to an NCAA regional. She was a 1/2 of a 10th away from making it to the NCAA finals.
Yeah, she's really in her element when she's on bars. This is where she shines.
And learned how to train smarter by going that next step last year. Learned a lot about herself, about what is required of herself. Set the good tone for a junior season.
Beautiful handstand position there, giant full into a ginger, right down to the low bar, overshoot. I mentioned the judges are looking for the clean form and the legs together. Hit handstand, she's doing all of that. Just the dismount. Double layout, gets the stuck landing. That was a beautiful routine. That's definitely going to be the highlight for EMU.
That's someone putting their name in contention for a Mid-American Conference bar championship right there.
Yeah, that was a gorgeous routine.
And right back to the vault. Josephine Thomas.
Wow, that was a gorgeous vault. Yurchenko full got lots of distance on that. Maybe a tiny hop on the landing. She's another one of those gymnasts that are capable of doing a 1.5 on vault. Not quite ready yet to put into the lineup, but maybe later in the season. But even if they don't go with the 1.5, that was a gorgeous full.
She almost got too much distance.
Yeah. But hey, as long as you stay on that mat.
She caught the very far right corner of the horse before she launched herself into the vault. Watch where she hits the table. It wasn't as bad in replay.
And she was a little bit off center too. You could see her hands to the left side of the table, and then she landed to the left side. So she'll get a deduction for that. But a good landing and clean form throughout.
Got one more bar routine from Eastern Michigan with Callie Harden in the anchor spot.
She's going to open here with a Sapash down into a pack salto. Those are difficult transitions. She does have a pretty big leg separation on them. But the good thing is from where the judges are sitting, they might not be able to see it as much as we can with this angle. Finishes with a double tuck. Looks like her legs came a little bit apart in the air. The judges can take for that. And the step on the landing.
48-8 is the season high this year for Eastern Michigan on bars. They're going to drop Hartung's 8-9, and then the lowest number outside of that is in the 9-7s. So this should turn into a pretty good day on bars for Eastern Michigan. Western Michigan's scores are final after their vault, so they're at a 97-3-5. Best vault for the Broncos, Thomas and Tishkoff, each with a 9-8. They'll drop the Harrison 9-1. So Western bounces back with a better vault score than bars to position themselves well.
And EMU was killing it. They had a great vault rotation and followed it up with a great bars rotation.
Someone who was in the lineup pretty consistently last year as a freshman, but this is what competition does. Earn it back on meet day.
And this exhibition spot is a good way for her to get herself back out there in front of the judges, in front of the audience, under the lights of the arena. Just get some confidence, get some more experience under her belt. You know, this isn't going to count for the lineup, so there's not too much pressure on her. Just wants to focus and hit a good routine here for herself.
See the vault results for Western Michigan. We told you the 9-8s for Tishkoff and Thomas.
She came up short of that handstand there to open, and then falls on her release move. Didn't get her hands where they needed to be in order for her to stay on. But that's what the exhibition spot is for her to get the experience, get the falls and mistakes out now, figure out what she needs to do, and that way, hopefully, if they need her in the lineup later in the season, she'll be ready to go.
People have said that like hitting a baseball is the hardest thing in sports. I have long held that actually recatching a high bar is the most difficult thing, but a release move on the uneven bars is a close second.
Honestly, I feel like everything these girls do is hard.
And a second fall there for Reynolds.
Yeah, struggling just a little bit here. You know, it's hard to get back up and get your momentum going again after you've had a fall, and it's a challenging spot to be in. Just needs to take a deep breath, regroup.
Gets half a minute to get those grips readjusted and jump back up.
She's got just the dismount left. I'd love to see her get this on her feet. Giant full into a double tuck. And there she goes, just the hop four, but she came back strong after having those 2 mistakes. Like I said, not easy to do.
So that puts a cap on the bars for Eastern Michigan, with the Eagles trying to pick up their second Mid-American Conference gymnastics victory of the season through 2 rotations, nearly a 3/10 lead. 2 new apparatuses coming up, floor and beam.
Since having Ella a part of our team from my freshman year until now, she's changed our lives so much. When we first started with her, I didn't really know that she was going to impact our lives so much. Since having Ella a part of our team from my freshman year until now, she's changed our lives so much. When we first started with her, I didn't really know that she was going to impact our lives so much. Like, I knew that we were going to impact hers, but she's definitely changed our lives. She makes us so happy when we see her, and we have like different perspectives now on things just from knowing her, and I just think it's really cool that she's a part of our team. I'm so thankful for it. She's the strongest girl I know, and she inspires me every day. So I had the privilege of knowing Ella before I got to school. She went to the same school district as me, so I got to work with her a couple times. And she's just such a light to all of our lives and brings so much happiness and her big smiles to the gym every day. And we're really going to miss her being a part of our team.
Having Ella on the team these past few years has been really impactful and just amazing. Sometimes when she doesn't feel great and she comes into the gym, like, it'll put her in a better mood, but it also goes the other way around. When she comes in and we see her, it just brightens up our day, our practice, and she never fails to put a smile on our face. And we just really love having her on the team. The Dovers have impacted us and myself just so much, and we're so blessed and thankful to get to do this with her.
If I could think of a word to describe Ella, it'd probably be extraordinary. She really is like just such an amazing person, and she just lights up a room when she walks in. I know, like, for me, like when I'm having a bad day, especially being a nursing major right now, like she's one of the people that like I'm doing this for her so that I can help kids like her just smile and get through those hard days. But Ella's just such a fighter, and she's so strong and she's so brave, and that just really empowers me to get through the days that I don't think I can, and when she can do it, then I can too. So Ella's just so special, and she'll always have a special place in my heart.
She just brings like so much happiness to all of our girls. They get so much more excited that she's in the gym, and I think it lifts everyone's mood, and it also lifts Ella's, and she just means so much to us.
Ella's just such a great reminder that life is so much more than gymnastics. Life is about the people you surround yourself with, and Ella and the Dovers just bring so much joy to our team. She brings a light that we are forever grateful for, and we love that we've had her for the past couple of years.
It's just amazing. She walks in the room and our whole team lights up, and I think the same thing goes for her. We walk into a room with her, and she just gets this big smile on her face, and it brings so much joy to my heart to see her smile when she comes to our team. She's part of our family, always has been, always will be, and I'm just so grateful for her and her family to be a part of my life and EMU gymnastics. She's super special to our team, and she's changing our lives for the better every day. It makes me appreciate every single day of my life so much more, and she just brings a tremendous amount of joy to every single one of us. We love you, Elle. Ella Rose Dover, you are just so special to this team and to us, and we can't thank you enough for being a part of our family, and we love you so much.
It is Epilepsy Awareness Night tonight here at Eastern Michigan for Ella Dover, a member of Team Impact, officially a rostered member of the Eastern Michigan women's gymnastics team. 1 in 26 people in the United States will be diagnosed with epilepsy. Ella suffers from chronic epilepsy. The purple is the awareness color, and it's just cool to see the way that she has impacted the team, because as cool as it is for her, it's really cool for the team. to be brought into her life and have them grow as young women through that experience as well.
Yeah, they're both being benefited by this experience, and I think it's a really beautiful thing to see.
Shannon Gregory is in the leadoff spot on beam for Eastern Michigan tonight. The only time we will see her, she is a specialist.
Starting off here with a little bit of a wobbly routine. See if she can compose herself. Does a good job there with the beat jump, sheep jump. Takes her eyes off the beam on that sheep jump skill. Really difficult.
Out of Edison, New Jersey. Same home state as Kendall Valentin. One of the all-time greats here recently.
Solid back handspring layout step out.
Little tick-tock.
Got just the dismount left. She does back handspring, 1.5 twist. Almost got a stuck landing there, just a small hop. But they wanted a solid routine in that leadoff spot, and she did that. Had a couple of wobbles there in the beginning, but got her composure and stayed on the beam, and that's what's most important.
Eastern Michigan is coming off its best bar score of the season, its best vault score of the season. Western Michigan, how does it answer? Morgan Spence on floor.
Opens with a nice double pike. Got good control on that landing. That's one of the things the judges are looking for in this event.
Floor MVP a year ago for Western, an NCAA regional competitor as well. She was the freshman of the year in the MAC, got so fired up. She went home to Raleigh, North Carolina, and significantly upgraded everything she did as a sophomore. It's that competitive fire that really leads this young Western team.
Yep, it's always a great thing when the athlete wants to get better and better, and you can see that through her gymnastics.
You've got 90 seconds to showcase your personality here. You must go down to the floor at least once. We'll see 3 passes.
Yeah, they have a lot to pack into 90 seconds. They not only got to worry about the dance, but they got 2 to 3 tumbling passes, leaps and jumps. It's a lot to pack in. You got to have a lot of endurance, but a strong finish there. She had no problem with her endurance.
It's a good leadoff spot there from Morgan Spence. Yeah, I said 3. You said 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Most will have 3.
Yeah.
Occasionally you see a gymnast with 2 passes. What would be the separator as to why they would do one versus the other?
It really just depends on the gymnast. Both could start from a 10-0. It just is a matter of the composition of your routine, and there's a certain number of skills you have to have. There's requirements that you need to have that base score, and you can fulfill all those requirements with 2 passes. So.
I'm trying to think. I think I've seen 1 with 2 passes over the last couple of years in the MAC.
Yeah, it's more often than not you see 3 passes. That's kind of the norm.
Michaela Stuckey was originally scheduled to go second on the beam for Eastern. Kara Roberts was not initially in the beam lineup, so we did not think she was going to go all around. She will be an all-around performer tonight.
Showed good position there in that split jump with a half turn. The judges are looking for that 180-degree split on all the leaps. She always does a good job with that. Front toss, she was a little bit off. She was a little bit off on that skill last week too, but does a good job of pulling it back. Finishes with an aerial, do a front layout off the end of the beam, and gets the landing.
Go back to the skill, though, that was just a bit off, because the power that it takes, A, to get yourself around to it, and then also to re-grip and not fall off the beam.
Yeah, you got to have strong toes. But, you know, that's the thing with beam. It's only 4 inches wide, and you got to keep yourself square and center on that beam when you take off. Otherwise, you can go left or right, and that can sometimes take you off the beam.
It is the world's smallest 4 inches and highest 4 feet.
I know, it's really impressive what these girls can do on that event when you think about it that way.
T-shirts for stuck landings. And then heading over to Ella Dover, what to watch for in a balance beam routine.
So, of course, staying on the beam without having any wobbles. That's kind of the name of the game here on this event. And then leaps and jumps, hitting 180 degrees. I mentioned that with Kara Roberts. She does a good job with that. And then, of course, that stuck landing I mentioned at bars. That is the last thing the judges see, so you want to leave them with a good impression.
You've got to travel the entire distance of the beam as well, and you can't wait. You will get deductions for holding up between movements.
You can take a slight pause between elements, but for the most part, you got to keep your rhythm going.
Freshman Josephine Thomas here on the floor.
Opens with a double pike. Good landing. The gymnasts are allowed to take a step back like she just did, as long as it's controlled. And she did a beautiful job with that. Punch front to a full.
One of 3 events for Thomas tonight. She is ready to be an all-arounder. She has a good enough bar routine, but right now is 7th on maybe the deepest apparatus that Western has. So right now she'll settle for 3 spots. Spence preceded this with a 9-7.
Good starting score for them. She's got 1 pass left. It's been a good routine so far. Does a whip to a 1.5 twist. That's been a solid routine. It's always nice when you can count on the freshmen to go out there and hit a routine like that.
They've got 6 of them in Kalamazoo. And what's incredible about it is that of the 6, 3 of them have already done all around, and we told you Thomas could, so 4 of the 6.
Yeah, lots of potential there, and EMU also has a lot of freshmen on their team. They have 7. One of them here up now on beam, Aurelia Harris.
I'm a huge fan of unique mounts of the beam as well, so bonus points there.
Now, I believe this is her first time in the beam lineup. She's exhibitioned on this event before.
It's the first time she's done anything other than bars.
There's a front toss into a back handspring step out. Showed good control on that.
There's your full turn. Head coach Katie Minnesola told us they go 12 deep, Eastern Michigan, on the beam, and took Caitlin Sattler out of the lineup, who went 9.825 at one point this year, but fell last week. So you've got to carry your own water every week, or you might not be up there.
Yep. These girls really fight hard in the gym for these lineup spots, and if you're a little bit off and struggling on something, you know, they'll take you out and replace you with someone else.
And she fell in a triple flight series, no mercy, and just a slight slip on the dismount.
Yeah, her foot looked like it slipped off the side of the beam. A little bit of a scary landing there.
Before that, really a phenomenal turn through for Harris.
It was, yeah. It was a great routine leading up to this. Just, yeah, her foot slipped. Coach Minnesola said sometimes she just gets a little bit lost in the air. It's one of the big things with gymnastics. They do a lot of twisting, and you got to have good air awareness.
So that will wind up, hopefully, if you're Eastern Michigan, being the score you drop. 6 up, 5 count, and back to floor. In the 3rd spot, it is a freshman who has gone all around, Ronnie Binstock.
Had a strong opening there. Showed good amplitude on those leaps and a good split position.
No stranger to high-level competition. Competed at the Maccabia Games in Chile back when she was in high school. Went to Israel as well in 2017 for a 10,000 athlete event, the 20th Maccabia Games.
It was a good experience for her.
The only bigger events internationally, the Olympics and the World Cup. Good stick.
Yeah, that was a great landing. A little bit of flexed feet in the air, but that was solid.
Look at Penny Jernigan's reaction.
She loves it. The team loves it.
Binstock will take it. After a pair of 9.7s immediately before her. She's got close to a 9.8. That one gets. Although I don't know, it looks like she might have come down a little funky. And keep an eye. But she is not in the beam lineup, so her day is done regardless, but hopefully she's all right going forward too. Here is Jada Rondu.
They're going to be looking to bounce back after that fall, and if there's anyone that you're going to put up to get you back on track, I think Jada Rondeau is a good one. She's very solid on this event.
One of 2 all-arounders for Eastern tonight. She went 9.8 on bars, 9.725 on her vault.
Sitting pretty so far.
Does have a triple flight to look forward to here.
Yeah, she's normally very solid on that, so we'll see if she can get it again here today. Starts with a full turn. Showed good control there. Here she goes for that triple series, back handspring, layout, step out, solid. That's probably one of the best ones I've seen her do. Sometimes she's a little bit off on that. Looks like she's going a little bit crooked, but that was great.
How difficult is the triple flight series, and what separates the gymnast that can make that added connection?
Well, you're tumbling down the length of the beam, and it's tricky. Like I mentioned, it's 4 inches, so to tumble down that length and stay on, that's very difficult, and not a lot of girls do it. Most girls only do 2 series or 2 flips in their series, so that was a solid routine for Rondeau. Finishes with a 1.5 off the end of the beam, took a step forward, but a good way to get them back on track after that fall from Harris.
That may go down as her best beam score this season, averaging a 9.775 coming in.
Another look at the dismount. Just a tiny, tiny step forward, but a hit routine. So great to see that for them.
Now Stacey Harrison with a floor routine that starts loud.
Lots of power here too, double tuck.
Incredible height.
Yeah, got to have a lot of power to do that. She had no issues getting that one up in the air. And a great landing too. Punch front, front full, dances right out of it.
That's all part of how you construct a floor routine, is making sure it's not just piece, 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 but if you can link things together and make it a full performance, that's a separator.
Yep, some girls you'll see that do jumps out of their tumbling passes. Some just like to dance right out of it. Kind of makes their routine look a little more seamless. Maybe can help disguise some deductions if there are any on the landing.
Saw Binstock's score flash up at the bottom of your screen, a 9.625. Does that surprise you?
A little
Or was
bit.
it 9.825? Never mind.
9.825, that's a good score.
That does not surprise
I was
me.
going to say, that seemed really low, 9.625. She had a great routine.
Get my eyes checked. And that out of bounds step will hurt.
Yep. It looks like just 1 foot went out, so that'll be a 10th. A 10th for the step back, and then another 10th for going out of bounds. Those 10ths really add up, so you really want to minimize those deductions. And here's another look at that pass. You see the step out of bounds. Double pike. Yeah, pretty big step back, and only 1 foot went out, so it'll be a 10th for that.
Back to beam. This is Bree Price.
I love Bree on this event. She's a beautiful beam worker, has great lines, nice toe point. She actually was a competitive dancer, so you can see that here on the beam, and you'll see it next on floor. She's going to do an illusion turn here. That was great. That's a unique skill. You don't see that very often in college gymnastics.
Eastern's been known for some unique beam skills. We saw the sheep jumps earlier. The illusion is one of them that's been pretty consistently in Eastern routines over the last 4 or 5 years across different coaching staffs.
Yeah, and those triple series too. A lot of great stuff here on beam.
And a great dismount right off the end of the beam.
She looked like she wanted to take a step back, but she held on to that landing. That was great.
So Bree Price puts up a solid number for Eastern Michigan. You saw Jada Rondeau's 9.825 pop up right before that. So Eastern getting stronger here, looking to put together its best all-around meet this season. Now, it does have a 4.91 as its best score on beam, so that's going to be hard to hit. But it's had its best vault score, its best bar score.
And they're looking solid here on beam, so yeah, you mentioned that 49-1. They did that at Bowling Green in their season opener. It's a Great way to start the season.
Now Charlotte Tishkoff, the freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona, who used to come to Western Michigan gymnastics camps growing up, all the way from Arizona. Penny Jernigan said she was ready to come to college 2 years ago, just a mature kid, and it shows in her gymnastics.
Open there with a double pike. Chest down a little bit on the landing. It's always a cool story when they grow up, go into those camps, and they end up, you know, competing for the team. 1.5 punch front.
Probably trying to figure out what this snow stuff is on the ground, though.
You see the team in the back doing the choreography along with her. That's one of the fun things about college gymnastics. You see the teammates having fun and getting into it with her.
Yeah, you don't want to be the one that doesn't know it.
Right? Well, you know, they see these routines every day in the gym, so they know what to do. I know if I was a gymnast, I'd get pumped up if I saw my teammates doing that on the side with me. One more pass, looking to finish strong. It's been a good routine so far. Double top, chest down a little bit on that one too. But a good routine.
Just good performance art by Western Michigan for its first four floor routines.
Tongue twister.
And Harrison only got docked to a 9.625. It's not the greatest thing in the world for her, but for what it could have been after that big step out of bounds. All right, if that's the score you have to drop, Western's going to have a really good rotation over there. And right now that is the case, and will continue to be so once that score comes in for Tishkoff. Now Dobronics, who has been an all-arounder in her career, keeping her off bars right now to save her shoulders.
I love how calm and confident Emily is on this event. You can see it right off the bat. She has a little bit of a smile or a smirk almost on her face.
And that's important because as much as we talk about the artistry and the performance on floor, it's a big deal on beam as well, and that gets lost sometimes in the level of concentration, and that will hurt her.
That's really unfortunate because they had the fall from Harris already before her, and she's been so consistent on this event. It's a shame to see her come off in competition because she doesn't do that very often.
We're back here tomorrow with women's basketball. Northern Illinois is here in the Convocation Center.
Nice pike jump into a pike jump with the 3/4 turn. Did a good job of hitting that pike position.
Next home meet for Eastern Gymnastics, also with Northern Illinois. And they'll have to contend with that. Really good landing and a good salvage there.
She finished strong, got the stuck landing, but she's going to be disappointed with that one. Like I said, she's normally so rock solid for Eastern, especially on this event, so definitely a little bit disappointing for her.
And you can see that in the, I don't want to say condolences, but the condolences of the hug from Katie Minnesola. Carissa Ludwig, the sophomore out of Clarkston, to finish things off here on floor for the Broncos.
She has a front tuck through to double back. Chest was down on that landing quite a bit.
My favorite nugget about Carlos, it doesn't make any sense. She told Region 5 Insider when she was in high school that if she was not a gymnast, she would be a competitive rower because she's really uncoordinated. And I would like to present what you are currently watching as a rebuttal to that, because there is a lot of coordination that goes on to being a gymnast.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. You got to be coordinated, so that's funny.
Find your own element and thrive. Her family rowers, so it makes sense. But she is really good here.
Finished with a double pike. Solid, solid routine.
That's just a sophomore. Ton of room to grow still for Emily Carlos.
I actually believe that was Carissa Ludwig.
Oh, excuse me, you're right.
Here we got Michaela Stuckey on the beam, another one of those freshmen for EMU. Starts off with a full turn. Great control.
Here's Michaela Stuckey in this exhibition spot.
Big handspring layout, step out into a beat jump. That was spot on. Showed good control there on those leaps. Legs hit 180, that's exactly what the judges are looking for. And a standing layout step out.
And a good warm-up for her because she'll be in the floor lineup, score counting, in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, she was in the exhibition spot here on beam last weekend and nailed her routine and hits another one there today. So that's good for her case in making the beam lineup. She's really trying to show the coaching staff that she wants to be in next week on this event.
Especially after a couple of falls. Now, Dobronik's spot is probably safe, even though she fell today, but iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Trying to push the envelope and get yourself into the lineup. And we mentioned Caitlin Sattler, who's got a triple flight series in there, was a 9.8 a couple of weeks ago, not in the lineup today. All right, so the 9.1 actually will wind up counting, and that will knock Eastern Michigan. Harris's 9.0 drops. It also knocks Eastern from the lead, and pretty substantially so because Western Michigan rocked on floor.
Yeah, that definitely stings a little bit for Eastern.
Good work by Ludwig to bring up the anchor spot there, regardless of whether or not we told a story about her or not. You'll see the final Ludwig score flash up there at 9.75. So 1-4-6-1 for the Broncos. They've got a pretty sizable lead heading into floor. But when you're the home team, you get to finish on floor. And that is the event that sometimes gets those competitive juices flowing.
Yep, it's the easiest event. You just go out there, let it go.
When you've got to drop a 9.6, had a pretty good rotation. Just consistent right across the board.
Yeah, a very solid rotation for them. They came on strong there on floor.
All right, switch sides. Eastern Michigan will try to come from behind here. They trail by 0.4 of a point. Some ground to make up. Next. Streaming now, Disney Plus. You can sign up online, get Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic. Get The Mandalorian. First season was fantastic. Baby Yoda. The memes have taken the world by storm. Eastern Michigan trying to make a comeback here against Western Michigan tonight. The Broncos lead by
almost 5 tenths.
You know, exactly 5 tenths, actually. 146.15 to 145.65. It's clearly doable because Eastern led going into the third rotation, but the Eagles are going to need some help.
Yeah, they definitely are going to need a little bit of help from Western. They were in a similar position last week, needed a little bit of help from CMU to get out on top, and didn't happen. But Florida's a good event for EMU. It's definitely not out of their reins here. They just got to focus and go out there and hit a solid couple of routines on floor.
Scores by apparatus. The 4.875 is a high for Western Michigan on floor this year. The 4.8725 is a high on vault for Eastern. The 4.885 is a high on bars for Eastern. All right, who can put forward the most season highs? I mean that both sarcastically but also quite seriously. Will ultimately win the day tonight. Eastern Michigan with a 4.8625 to beat. That is its season high on floor. Beam is actually statistically the worst apparatus for Western Michigan by ranking.
But it's funny because I spoke to Coach Jernigan, and she feels that Beam is their strongest event this season, and they actually started with their season opener. They were only a 10th off from their program record on Beam. So
right. It's weird.
They can be great here.
Because it's the apparatus they have scored the highest in any one given shot this year, but it's also their worst by average.
Yeah.
So, okay. Morgan Spence will lead off on the beam. Eastern lineup with Bree Price and Michaela Stuckey on floor. Talk greatly about their impact beyond just their routines. Once Eastern Michigan takes the floor, Emily Dobronics will be in the anchor spot. Jada Rondu is the all-arounder right in front of her. Kara Roberts as well. So that's a stacked back half of the order for the Eagles.
Yeah, those two have the capabilities of bringing in huge scores for Eastern.
So here is Spence, a 9.75 average through 3 meets this year.
Started off there with a full turn. It's a little bit off, but covered it well. Back handspring layout step out. She did that back handspring with one arm. Very difficult. Has a little bit of bent knees throughout on all of her elements. The judges could take an overall deduction for that. Aerial, layout full off the end of the beam. Just a small hop back.
And she just snubbed Penny Jernigan for a high five. Coach is behind you.
There she goes. She just got it there.
Bree Price to lead off for Eastern. First two on the floor for Eastern Michigan are Bree Price and Michaela Stuckey. Both of them have competitive dance backgrounds, and both of them helped choreograph their own routines and routines for others in the Eastern lineup. Katie Minnesola was 7 months pregnant when the gymnast came back to school at the beginning of the year, so in addition to the assistant coaches helping construct lineups, the two competitive dancers, Price and Stuckey, helped out as well.
Yeah, they started dance when they were about 2 years old, so they have a lot of experience with that, and they just have fun doing it.
Price has a little bit more of the graceful ballet in her. Stuckey is a little bit more jazzy pizzazz.
Yeah, a little more upbeat. I know Bree did point.
Spunk was the word Katie Minnesola used.
Yeah, that's a good word to describe it.
Although this is an aggressive music choice for Bree Price.
Yeah, she had, like you said, she kind of has that like contemporary look to her, but goes with a little bit more upbeat music, so it's interesting, but she pulls it off well, I think. I love that. It's been a solid routine so far. Front handspring to a Rudy. Great landing. Strong start for EMU on the floor. That's exactly what they needed.
.9775 for Morgan Spence as the opener for Western Michigan. And now Charlotte Tishkoff, who has huge potential here. Changed her dismount in December, so that's still new, working through it, but in the lineup.
Back handspring layout, step out. Solid on that, showed good control. Split jump, straddle jump with a half turn. Puts up a W there for Western.
Tishkoff has had a really good night. 9.8 on vault, 7.5 bars, 7.75 on floor. It has gotten better for her every turn she has gone up.
Had a pretty big wobble there on her side aerial. Dipped her chest down, but squared her hips, pulled herself back to the center of the beam. Looking to finish strong here. Back handspring, 1.5 twists in the tuck position. Good routine. They all look pretty happy with that one.
So now back to the floor for Eastern Michigan and the aforementioned Michaela Stuckey. Let's see the spunk immediately. Just the way she maneuvers on the ground.
I love the confidence that she shows when she's performing. Really gets you pumped up to watch her. Opens here with a double pike. Ooh, and it looks like she stayed in. Almost went out of bounds there, though.
Some kind of power, though, to have in your 2 spot of the order.
Yeah. You know, floor is one of those events where you can have a lot of power, but you got to keep it in bounds, too.
Just a little bit long on that pass as well. I think she kept it in as well.
Yeah, she's cutting it close here with these landings. Got to work on controlling that power. I know she sometimes under-rotates her passes, doesn't have quite enough power. Looks like she's going all out today.
And again, massive height, and sticks it on a 3rd pass for Stuckey.
It was a strong finish for her.
This is certainly gymnastics, but follow the theater aspect of that.
Yeah, that was a fun routine. She performs that so well. Love to see it.
Well, how do you want to be the person that's 3rd in the lineup that then has to go out and perform? Because that's what it's about. As good as your gymnastics may be, you have to meet that bar that's set early on.
Yeah, you really got to sell the choreography just as much as you got to sell the skills that you're doing.
Tishkoff a 9.725 to set the table for Josephine Thomas on her 3rd event tonight. .9675 is her best this year on beam.
She's been solid so far. She looks calm up there. It's always a good thing when you're on the beam. Split jump, straddle with a half turn. Aerial layout full off the end. Just a slight movement of her foot. But it was a good routine.
Massive exhale as she came off.
She was happy just to survive that beam routine.
Now, we told you Caitlin Sattler was not in the beam lineup today. She does get a crack on the floor. Big time twist. Passes.
2.5 twists into a punch front. That was great. She's really clean in her twists. Sometimes you see girls cross their feet when they're in the air. She has no problems to perform there.
Taller gymnast, so it lends to being more of a twister than a tumbler, head over heels. Sometimes biology makes that decision for you.
Front handspring, front double full.
Again, going to the ground at least once in your routine. A 9.45 from Stuckey.
Yeah, they looks like they nailed her for those landings.
Yeah, and I bet she did go out when she vanished into that corner.
We might not have seen it from our angle, but she probably definitely did if the score came up that low. Ends with a front handspring Rudy. That's a 1.5 twist. Really solid routine for Caitlin. So hopefully Stuckey's score will be the one that they can drop. Sattler did a good job following that.
9.7 from Price to lead it off, and then the 9.45 from Stuckey. This is Amanda Gruber. A dancer as well when she was 3. She went to ballet, and that led its way into gymnastics.
She went to ballet and decided, this is kind of boring. I want to do gymnastics.
You can cheer for her all you want. She's not going to hear you. said she is in the zone when she gets up on the apparatus.
She did a great job there on those jumps, hitting that 180. I think her dance training really helps with that aspect. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there as she prepares for her dismount.
She must have ran out of real estate. But sticks the landing.
1.5 twist. Yeah, does a great job on that landing. She nailed everything else, just a little wobble there before her dismount.
That'll be a routine that Western counts. And now Kara Roberts to finish off her all-around day. She has been everywhere in the 9-7 region tonight. 9-7, that was beam. 9-7-2-5 on vault. 9-7-7-5 on bars. For the first year competing, sophomore.
I mentioned earlier that she had an Achilles tear last year and it happened on this event. Always difficult to come back from that, but wow, that was a great double pike to open. Beautiful control on the landing.
And it's all about regaining your confidence. Katie Minnesola told us that she had a conversation with Kara Roberts and said, "Can I get a 9-7?" The coach said, "Of course you can get a 9-7? Of course you can get a 9-7. She is a better gymnast than even she believes."
Nice deep breath there before going into the second pass. 1.5, punch front. Solid. Yeah, it really just is a matter of having confidence, especially when you're coming back from an injury as severe as she did. Just got to trust yourself and believe that you can do it. One more pass to go to finish off a beautiful routine for Kara Roberts. Front handspring, 1.5 into the split jump. That's going to be a big score for them.
And a needed big score. Still trying to make up ground on Western Michigan here in the fourth rotation, and the Broncos really haven't given any daylight.
Yeah, like I said, Jernigan said that they're strong in this event. She feels it's the team's strongest event, and so far they're showing that. Not giving away much.
Remember we talked about coordination? This is Emily Carless.
Yeah, you need the coordination here. Cat leap to an aerial. Had her chest down, a little bit off balance. Big handspring there, step out. Looked a little unsure of herself there on the landing, but pulls it back.
Won a couple beam titles for Western a season ago. Did compete on the MAC championship roster for Western on this event. Pretty constant in the lineup.
Beautiful full turn.
And notice the detail, just the crawling of her hand down her leg.
Yeah, I noticed that. I love that. It's the little things sometimes. Finishes here with a 1.5 twist and a stuck landing. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Western is leaving no doubt here on balance beam.
Yeah, they've had a couple stuck landings over here on beam.
They're going to drop a 9-7-2-5 at the moment.
It's big for them.
Bowling Green coming up next, then Ball State, both of those in Kalamazoo. Eastern Michigan has had just a torrential start to its schedule. 4 of its first 5 meets are duels, and they're conference meets.
Wow.
Rise to the occasion.
She just stuck that with 2 feet. Like I mentioned before, you can take a step back. It's not a deduction, but she didn't need the step back. She just stuck it with 2 feet.
Rondu competing all around. Couple 9-8s already tonight.
EMU needs some big scores here on this event. Rondu doing a good job. Hoping to bring in a big score here. Looks like she's having fun. It's a big component of the floor. You gotta sell your routine, have fun with it.
To the judges, always know where the judges' table is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't get any bonus tens for, selling it to the judges, but you wish they could. Finishes with a front handspring into a Rudy split jump, or a straddle jump rather. Great finish. That was a really good routine. That's going to be a big score for them.
Well, Sattler had a 9.8. Roberts had a 9.8. Back to the balance beam, and Amelia Moeller for Western Michigan. Usually the anchor on bars and beam. She was 5th on bars tonight. Put up a 9.775 in the opening rotation.
Coach Jernigan said that she's the one on the team that brings the most energy and kind of pumps everyone up, but got to control that energy here on the beam. A triple series, that was gorgeous. Big smile on her face as she lands that.
And again, the details with her hands.
Yeah, she's beautiful. And the toe point, I'm noticing the toe point. Gorgeous.
Did that little flutter as she brought her hands down back near the middle of the beam.
And a cartwheel. Gainer pike off the end of the beam. Had her chest down a little bit on that landing, but wow, she's pumped. I told you that she brings the energy, and you can see it there with that landing.
Well, we told you Western was lowest ranked on this apparatus nationally, but it's also put up its highest score of any apparatus on beam, and the potential is there on beam. And Western Michigan has absolutely rocked it in that area tonight.
Yep, they're doing everything they need to do to come out here on top. Here's Emily Debronix now on floor. Opens with a double pike.
Rondeau a 9.825, so 3 9.8 pluses for Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern's doing everything they can too to keep themselves in this.
Western does eclipse that 1.95 mark for the second time this season. They opened with one against Michigan State. Eastern's going to have a good score too, but likely will not be able to catch Western.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible at this point.
It's too big of a gap, but you're going to be in the 1.94s.
Still going to be a respectable score. Debronix can get this last pass on her feet. That'll help raise the score a little bit. Making eye contact there with the judges. And with the double talk, great finish from the senior leader.
And depending on the number that Debronix gets here, this could be an Eastern Michigan high on floor for the season as well.
Good way to bounce back after the fall on beam for Debronix.
Moeller gets a 9.75, and back to the beam for Western Michigan with their only exhibition routine of the night. Ariana Mamelka
showed great control there on her series. Solid.
Said to Penny Jernigan, you put up a 1.95-275 in your opener, the win against Michigan State. And she said, yeah, but I was almost disappointed because I thought we could have done more. And for a debut score, that's a really good number. And, I looked back at last year. I said, well, what did they start with last season? Also put up a 1.95 in the opener. But that wound up being their second best score of the season. Didn't see the improvement over the course of the year. That is not the case this season with another 1.95 tonight. And a good exhibition there by Mamelka.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be happy with their performance today. They started the season really strong, like you mentioned, and had another great day today, so they have lots to be happy with.
Exhibition on the floor with Kasanovic, who will both begin and end the competition today. Was the leadoff on vault, is the exhibition on floor.
Opens with a double pike, hit her chest down on the landing.
Now she fell on her second pass exhibitioning last week.
Yeah, just needs to work on getting her confidence up, but that's what this exhibition spot is for. You know, if she can go out there and hit her routine today,
Right.
it might change things for her. You know, she may be able to go out and start hitting the routines more consistently.
Well, in tiny victories, get better this week than you were last week, and here is that pass.
And that was a great landing. She looks happy with that. Good redemption for her.
Scores in the bottom right corner of your screen are final. So Western gets the head-to-head. The Broncos are 3-1, although one was a quad meet. So they're 3-0 in straight-up duels and unbeaten in conference play. Eastern will go to 1-2.
But that's still a good score for Eastern.
It's a great score.
Yeah.
And that's where wins and losses are goofy in gymnastics. They matter, but they don't matter. Like your score is what gets you to the NCAA regionals.
Hasanovich came up short there on that last pass. It was an otherwise great routine. Just needs a little bit more work back in the gym. She'll get there eventually.
And that concludes the action here tonight in Ypsilanti. But again, a 194.65. It's the second best score of the three that Eastern Michigan has put out this year, and it bested their output from last week against Central Michigan.
Yep, they still came back strong. I think that there's lots to improve upon here with this team, but they still had a good performance today and lots to be proud of.
And again, came in ranked 33rd. And you've got to go into all the metrics of how you get into the top 36. Road scores count. But you want to be in the top 36 as opposed to have to climb in to the top 36. So Eastern Michigan helps its case at staying among those top numbers with its performance here tonight. Western Michigan does a lot to help itself vault a little bit higher in the standings.
Yeah, Westerns, they've never qualified a team to the regional championships before, so this performance today will be good for them to stay up in the rankings and where they need to be at the end to, get to regionals.
Put a bow on it next here in Ypsilanti. It's a Western Michigan win, but a good all-around performance on both sides. Overall for both programs, although the win goes to Western Michigan. 195-175. It was a 194-275 for Eastern Michigan. So 194, you'll take that still early in the season if you're Katie Minnesota. And they put up a 48-1 on beam. If there's one fall, and it was the landing by Harris, if she lands that, they might win, and they probably put up their best overall score of the year.
Yeah, they didn't quite have the rotation they wanted on beam, but, it is a good event for them. They are a strong beam team, and I think they're going to go back in the gym and work out those little kinks and fix those mistakes they made today, and they're going to come back stronger next time.
Yeah, it was the best score of the season on vault, on bars, and on floor for Eastern Michigan, just the slip up on beam that cost them in the end. But, again, overall a good day for the Eagles. Western Michigan, though, phenomenal.
Yeah, they had a great day today, and they have a lot to be proud of. They didn't do a whole lot of mistakes, so definitely going to want to keep that momentum going forward for the rest of the season.
All right, let's take a look at those scores and how things played out tonight here in Ypsilanti. Individual winners, you had a tie on vault at 9-8. Your performance of the night goes to Courtney Beazle. Well, it's the only thing you do. You better do it well. 9.85 as the specialist on bars, first team all conference there. 9.85 to Gruber on beam. She wins that. And then they're just handing out 9.825s on floor. But well earned. Rondu and Dobronics ended with a bang. Binstock looked great for Western Michigan.
Yeah, those are some good scores. Definitely respectable, and they'll be happy with those performances.
Western Michigan. See what they did on those three apparatuses taking titles. Bice and Moeller, 9.775, tied for the team lead on bars. A 3.905 for Tishkoff. That is her career high all around. As a freshman, she cracks 3.9 for the very first time.
Yeah, anytime you can go over 39 in the all-around, that's a big deal.
Eastern Michigan today. Jada Rondu also cracks 3.9 in the all-around. One of two all-arounders. Kara Roberts also went all-around today. Rondu wins beam and floor. Dobronics had your high on vault.
Yeah, Rondu had a great day today. Lots to be proud of there.
48-950 is the final floor score for Eastern. So we mentioned best on vault, bars, and floor today. That cleans that up. 48-950 on floor. You will take that. Western Michigan Broncos from here. A couple of home meets, a couple of MAC meets. Bowling Green and the Ball State Cardinals. Then go to Illinois. Quads are always interesting. They get you ready for MAC championship play because everyone's up and you just keep moving. Eastern Michigan continues with just a brutal start to its schedule. 4 of its first 5 competitions are straight-up duels, and they're conference matchups. They get a reprieve with Lindenwood. That's not really a reprieve. Lindenwood's a Division II school that made it to the NCAA tournament last year. It's only the 3rd time that's ever happened. They get Ball State at Georgia as well, so they get Ball State back-to-back on the 14th and 16th.
Yeah, Georgia's going to be a big one. That's a great school to be going up against. A very top-notch program in the NCAA.
That'll be a try-meet with the Gym Dogs there. We are back with you on February 7th when Northern Illinois, the defending MAC champs, are in town. That does it for us here tonight. For Ashley Bueller, the rest of our crew, my name is Joel Gadet. Thanks for sticking with us. Ball State, Eastern Michigan, and Western Michigan gymnastics from Ypsilanti tonight. You can watch a replay of this and other events on our ESPN family of networks by heading to Watch ESPN or downloading the ESPN app. Good night from Ypsi.